The Galactic Combat Academy's Hall of Weapons stretched across 3 kilometers of polished obsidian floor, its vaulted ceilings disappearing into artificial twilight. Asa stood among 100 cadets from 47 species, her human frame noticeably smaller than most. Beside her, Henry shifted his weight, his eyes already cataloging every blade mounted on the crystalline displays that lined the walls. Instructor Velnox, a towering Catharian whose chitinous exoskeleton gleamed under the ambient lighting, raised 4 of his 6 arms in a gesture of welcome. His voice resonated through the translators embedded in each cadet's neural link. "Welcome to bladed warfare history," Velnox announced. "Before energy weapons, before plasma rifles, before the quantum disruptors that won the siege of Arcturus, there were these." He gestured grandly toward the nearest display case. The foundational weapons of civilization. The collection was impressive. Crystalline sabers from Proxima Centauri that hummed with residual energy. Curved talons from the Vrek's homeworld, each edge sharp enough to slice through molecular bonds. Weighted chains from the Okari system that could collapse stars with kinetic force. Or so the legends claimed. Asa felt a flutter of excitement. Ancient human history had always fascinated her, but seeing how other species had developed their martial traditions opened new perspectives. She glanced at Henry, who was frowning at the display with an intensity that made her nervous. She knew that look. "Each weapon represents 10,000 years of evolution," Velnox continued, moving toward a case containing what appeared to be a straight, double-edged blade approximately 1 meter in length. Its surface bore intricate etchings, and it floated on an anti-gravity pedestal. "This is a Catharian honor blade, perfectly weighted for ceremonial combat. The balance point sits precisely at the geometric center, as with all properly crafted blades." Henry's hand shot up. Velnox's primary eyes swiveled toward him. "Cadet Henry, a question already?" "Yes, instructor." Henry stepped forward, his voice carrying across the hall. "Why is it balanced wrong?" A ripple of confusion passed through the assembled cadets. Asa closed her eyes briefly. "Here we go." Velnox's mandibles clicked, a sign of either amusement or irritation. "With Catharians, it was hard to tell. I assure you, cadet, this blade has been examined by master weaponsmiths across the galaxy. Its balance is mathematically perfect." "Perfect for what?" Henry pressed. "Hanging on a wall, sure, but not for actual combat." The instructor's secondary arms crossed over his thorax. "Explain yourself." Henry approached the display, pointing but careful not to touch. "The balance point is at the geometric center right in the middle of the blade. That's fine for a thrusting weapon, maybe. But look at the edge geometry. This is designed for cutting, slashing, and for that, you want the balance point forward, closer to the tip. Otherwise, every strike is fighting inertia. You're moving dead weight." Velnox was silent for a moment. "Your species used bladed weapons?" "For thousands of years," Asa interjected, stepping beside Henry. She might as well support him now. "Humans developed dozens of different sword types, each with specific balance points depending on their purpose." "Fascinating." Velnox moved to another display. "And this one? The ceremonial falchion from Kepler 440b?" Henry studied it for only a few seconds. "To blade heavy, but at least it's forward weighted for chopping. The problem is the hilt. There's no counterbalance. Your wrist would be screaming after 10 swings." Humans learned to add pommels, sometimes quite heavy ones, to balance out long blades. A Vrex cadet, her scales shimmering with indignation, hissed through her translator. Primitive humans could not possibly have understood blade dynamics better than civilizations with millennia of advanced metallurgy. "We didn't have advanced metallurgy," Henry replied. "That's exactly why we understood blade dynamics. We couldn't just make the metal stronger, so we had to make the design smarter. Every gram mattered. Every millimeter of balance affected whether you lived or died." Velnox moved through the displays with increasing speed, now genuinely curious. He stopped at a curved blade from Tau Ceti. "This one is considered a masterwork." "The curve is beautiful," Asa said, her engineering background kicking in. "But the center of percussion is wrong. When it impacts, the shock would travel straight to the wielder's hand." Humans learned to design blades where the sweet spot, the center of percussion, hit without feedback. Katanas, scimitars, Sabers each had a point where they'd cut through resistance, like it wasn't there. Henry nodded. And that's not even getting into edge geometry. Some of these blades have edges that are just uniformly sharp. But humans developed different grinds for different purposes: convex edges for durability, hollow grinds for precision, compound grinds for versatility. Velnox's mandibles clicked rapidly, now definitely intrigued. How many distinct blade designs did humans create? Hundreds, Henry said. Thousands, if you count regional variations. Each culture, each era, each tactical situation generated new solutions. We had weapons for fighting informations, weapons for single combat, weapons for fighting armored opponents, weapons for unarmored opponents, weapons designed to catch other weapons, weapons designed to break other weapons. Enough. Velnox raised an arm. The hall had fallen completely silent. Even the most skeptical cadets were listening now. Cadet Henry, Cadet Asa, tomorrow you will guest lecture this class on human blade design. I want a comprehensive analysis of how your species approached personal combat weapons. Asa felt her heart race. A human lecturing at the Galactic Combat Academy? It was unprecedented. Instructor, Okari Cadet called out. His crystalline voice tinged with genuine curiosity. Why would humans develop such sophisticated blade technology? Surely your species had energy weapons by the time you achieved spaceflight. We did, Asa confirmed. But we used blades for 10,000 years before that. We had to get really good at it. And that, Velnox said slowly, is perhaps the most important lesson in this hall. The Galactic Collective achieved energy weapons within 3,000 years of discovering fire. Most species never needed to perfect primitive combat because they advanced beyond it so quickly. His eyes fixed on Henry and Asa. Humans spent millennia in what we would consider technological stagnation. And in that time, you perfected something the rest of us merely passed through. Henry smiled slightly. We're good at making the most of what we have, instructor, indeed. Velnox looked across the assembled cadets. Let this be your first real lesson in combat theory. Sometimes, the species that had to struggle the longest learns the deepest lessons. Class dismissed. Cadets Henry and Asa remain behind. We have much to discuss. As the other cadets filed out, chattering in dozens of languages, Asa caught Henry's eye. He shrugged with that characteristically human gesture that meant both apology and complete lack of regret. Above them, the ancient blades gleamed in their cases, perfect, beautiful, and as it turned out, fundamentally flawed by the standards of the species that had once fought with nothing else.